My friend Sean and I have been in Alaska for over 2 weeks now, and so far, this adventure has been beyond what we had imagined, but it's been anything but easy. Deep snow, stuck trucks, wildlife, abandoned trails, and cold that cuts right through. Regardless of the challenges, we're still pushing forward into the unknown because that's what adventures are all about. Today, we are tackling a trail that's been on the top of our list from the very start, heading straight towards the legendary Knik Glacier. But it won't come easy. Flooded trails, deep water crossings, tight brush, and terrain unlike anything we've driven before. Out here, you learn to embrace the uncomfortable, but you also have to know your limits. This is Alaska, wild, unpredictable, and stunningly beautiful, and it always seems to have the final say. Welcome back to our Alaska bucket trip, presented by Onyx Off-Road. This morning, we are still hunkered down behind some trees with roaring winds all around us. But that hasn't dampened our spirits because today is a day we've really been looking forward to. Tucking in behind these trees last night was 100% the right call. The wind has been howling all night and all morning long. A little bit of rain here and there, but that's okay. We're ready for adventure today. Now, we're gonna head out to the Knik Glacier, which is a massive glacier Sean and I are both excited to get to. But to get there, we're gonna have to battle through some deep sand and some really deep water crossings. But I think the payoff in the end is gonna be worth it. So, a little more caffeine. I'm gonna roll out of here. Sean, it's Glacier Day, my friend. How you feeling?
I'm feeling really good.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
How about these water crossings?
They're looking deep.
They're looking deep. You ever had this truck in really deep water?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so that'll be interesting.
I got a snorkel.
Yeah, me too.
I'm ready.
Let's go. We are off, and here's hoping the wind dies down before we reach tonight's campsite. This trail out to the Knik Glacier is a 20-mile out and back route, but it's not your average drive. With multiple paths branching off, we've got choices ahead. Each route offers its own set of challenges. We're excited, but also a little anxious. Deep water crossings and soft sand can get tricky fast, and out here, you've got to know when to push forward and when to play it safe. From above, it feels like driving into another world. Massive peaks rising off every side, rivers carving through the wide open valleys, and views stretching out for miles, like a scene from Lord of the Rings. It's stunning, a little surreal, and exactly the kind of adventure I built Doc for. The snorkel, the lift, the oversized tires, they weren't just upgrades, they were built for days like this, where the trail gets tough and caution matters just as much as confidence. We came out here to push our limits, but also respect them. Today, we're gonna see just how far we can go safely. All right, there's a lot of whoops on this trail, and I imagine that's from all the side-by-side and ATV use out here. Plus, there are just so many splits in the trail here. You really got to pay attention. So I'm paying very close attention on Onyx Off-Road to make sure we're on the right course, because it might be easy to get stuck in the woods or out in the deep water if we're not careful. But so far, so good. And this trail is fun. It's got some nice twists, lots of whoops, the water crossings, the views, and at the end, a glacier that's like 15 miles long. You think about that. Like the ice that's at the end of the glacier that we're gonna see is hundreds of years old. I'm excited to go see the glacier, but I'm also not in a hurry because this is a lot of fun. We just came to our first really deep water crossing, and I mentioned the tracks just kind of intertwine. I don't think that's the right one, so we're going to go up the river just a hair and see where another spot is. It looked a little more doable. There's like a little sandbar, so we're gonna give that a try. This is gonna be, I think, the nature of the beast today. The good thing is we both have snorkels, we're both pretty tall, so we'll make it. right, so we were at that first option. That was very wide and looked very deep. This still looks pretty deep, but it's a little narrower, and there's a sandbar that we can see on that side. So we're gonna give it a try. I'll go first, and yeah, it's an adventure. Here we go. Lockers on. Okay, not terrible. Not terrible. Little dip under the water. Bottom's pretty good. All right. Whew. That wasn't so bad. Well, my friend, I think we knew this trail was going to be a whole lot of fun. How you feeling about it?
Loving it. So much fun.
Yeah, I am having a blast. Now, what is it about this trail? Because you've been so excited to go see this glacier. What specifically is it about the glacier that you're so interested in?
Glaciers are cool. They're big pieces of ancient ice, and they're beautiful. And there's glacial silt blue water. And I don't know, man. Glaciers are rad.
Yeah, right on. Well, I've only seen a couple in my life. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. They said it's like 15 miles long. I've done the research. I've watched the videos, studied the maps, seen the photos, but none of that prepared me for how I was going to feel out here today. This is something else entirely. The views are absolutely breathtaking. Massive peaks, the snaking river through the valley, and more water crossings than I can count. And now, way off in the distance, we're finally starting to see it, the glacier. After all the miles, the unknown, the challenges, it's there. Still far off, with plenty of trail miles ahead and obstacles to come, but it's within our reach. Okay, we just came up to the riverbank. It is super windy out here, but we can finally see the glacier way off in the distance. It's like this really cool turquoise blue. But we're not crossing this river, dude. We got to get in the trees and figure out another route.
Yep.
Yeah, it's windy, it's cold. We're back in the trucks. In an effort to avoid fully submerging our trucks, we bailed off the main trail and took a route slightly to the north. That meant trading deep water crossings for tight, narrow trail winding through the trees. But what we didn't know at the time was the water wasn't done with us yet. All right, the trail follows into the forest a little bit away from the river. It's just really tight in here, so we're going nice and slow. And Sean's having a harder time than I am just because he's so much bigger, but it's still tight in here for me. So we're just taking our time through this section.
Bent my roof rack in, damaged the roof of my camper here. Now I'm stuck on this tree.
I gotta...
Cut the tree and pull it back?
Well, I'm wondering if I straighten my wheels and go forward, if this driver's side will drop down enough that it will clear.
Okay.
But I don't want to keep dragging it across here.
Nope.
'Cause I messed this up already.
Yeah.
Lucky it wasn't the latch. I'm not touching it.
You're okay, you're coming away from it. You're good, actually. You're good, dude. You got like 6 inches. Which I know in Canadian doesn't mean anything to you. You're clear!
Ah, that sucked.
Well, not too much damage. Could have been worse.
Yeah. Just got to replace a crossbar. No big deal.
Well, that's the important thing about taking our time in here, yeah?
Yeah, I'm really taking my time. All I keep hearing is crunch, 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 crunch. Branches breaking, branches falling. It's carnage.
You're still smiling. You're clear of the tree. Keep coming. You're good right there. No, keep turning, keep turning. Now straighten it out. You know, we thought the water crossings were going to be our challenge and limiting factor, but come to find out, it's this forest. Sean's up here, stuck again. He's breaking out the chainsaw so we can get clear of this tree. You want me to hold anything? The trees were definitely slowing us down, but we kept our spirits up and took it one tight turn at a time. Then, out of nowhere, the trail threw us a curveball. Several long, deep sections of flooded trail. Unlike the solid riverbed we'd crossed earlier, this ground was softer, and we had no idea what was underneath. We took it slow, one truck at a time, hoping the bottom would hold. Luckily, it did, and just as I was pulling out of the last water crossing, there they were, 2 mountain goats, calmly grazing on some brush right in front of me. It's like they'd been standing there the whole time, watching this all unfold. With the trees and flooding behind us, the trail opened up, and the glacier, we're so close now we can almost taste it. Getting closer and closer to the glacier, and just now a fuel plane with 2 helicopters fueling up to it simultaneously just flew overhead. That's pretty cool. I've never seen that before. That was very unique. What a great trail this has been. You know, this is one of those trails that it's about the destination because it's going to be really amazing to get there, but it's also been about the journey. This trail has been a blast, and this isn't a trail that you can get to as a tourist. You can do one of those helicopter tours or whatever and go check it out, but you're not going to experience it like we're experiencing it. We're close, guys. I can't wait to drive up to the edge of this glacier. This is going to be amazing. Well, after a very long journey to get to Alaska, seeing a whole lot of Alaska, and then spending a long time on the trail today, we've made it. We've made it to a glacier, the Knik Glacier, guys. This is incredible. Those massive ice structures out there that are centuries old. It's just beautiful. And standing out here in these mountains and everything, I mean, I feel a little small, but I also feel like, man, this place is magical. That is so cool. Woohoo!
We're in Alaska!
We're in Alaska, standing on an iceberg. Whoa. Every couple minutes, we'll hear a crack in the ice or a splash in the water. It's so unique. And to be camping right here is just, it's very special. All right, we're gonna go enjoy this for a while. Cook some chili dogs for dinner. Yeah. We've had some amazing days on this trip and camped in some unforgettable spots. But tonight feels different. Sitting here by the fire with the glacier glowing behind us and the stillness of this place wrapped around everything, this might be the moment that tops all of them. What an unreal place to close out the day. It is so quiet and peaceful out here. Yeah, places like this just kind of reset you a little bit, you know? You think about all the things that are happening back home that you're not even going to remember a year from now. You know, whatever's going on in the news, what did you just buy, you know, recently, or what's that email you just sent? A year from now, you're not going to remember any of that. But a year from now, I'm going to remember this. I love this, guys. This is exactly why I do what I do. Now, this morning, we do have to leave here, but we're going to try to explore a little bit more. And then we've got to get back off this trail, which was quite the adventure getting here. And we've got another place we're going to go visit, and still more of Alaska to see. It's crazy that it's been 20 days and the adventure is starting to wrap up, but I'm still excited to see what's to come. We are Oscar Mike, and on our way to see if we can get really close to the main glacier. Not sure how close we can get, but we're going to try our best. It looks like there's a few trails out there. And just a reminder, guys, if you want to follow along on our adventure or you want to come out here and do this yourself, we're going to leave a link to all the files and the routes and the waypoints on Onyx Off-Road. Plus, if you use my link down below, you will get 20% off. And a huge thanks to Onyx Off-Road for sponsoring our adventure. All right, let's see where the day takes us. Yesterday, we had no idea there was a way to even get closer to the glacier. But last night, Sean spotted a few side-by-sides cresting a hill and heading that way. Now, we're seeing a web of tire tracks and faint trails, so we're going to do what we do best, explore. It might take a little trial and error to figure out our route, and there's a large river crossing ahead that we'll assess when we get there, but this is what we live for, the unknown, the challenge, the chance to see what's possible. Let's go find out if we can get there. All right, I mentioned we were trying to get to the main glacier out there, and we've been following some two tracks that are out here in the sand, but we've come to a pretty deep water crossing. At least it looks pretty deep. And We found it looks like an entrance on the other side, but there's not a lot of tracks here, and that's pretty fast moving and looks pretty deep. So we're just gonna give this a hard look before we make a decision and get ourselves in trouble. Thankfully, that wasn't as deep or as fast running as we anticipated, and now, with the river behind us, the trail climbs. Steep, loose, and just enough to keep us guessing. But every foot of elevation brings us closer. The glacier's just over the next rise, and you can feel it in the air. Colder, quieter, bigger. What a great way to start the morning. Crossing that river, climbing up this mountain, and diving into this little valley right here where the glacier meets this lake, and there's icebergs all over the place, and then the glacier face is right there. This is pretty epic right here. Well, my friend, was it worth the effort to get here?
It was definitely worth the effort to get here. Look at this place. We're next to a 15-mile long glacier, and we just drove over like a super sketchy glacial field. It's not bad at all.
All right, it's gonna be tough to leave this spot, but we gotta start heading back and on to our next destination. So now we got about, I imagine we probably have 23, 24 miles till we get off of this trail, and then a good little drive till we get to our next point of interest today. Yeah, I'm full of joy. Sad to see the Knik Glacier in my review mirror. This was the one trail and one point of interest Sean and I were probably looking forward to the most. This whole trip has been great. This was definitely a highlight for sure. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, when's the next time I'll possibly be back here? When's the next time I'll possibly be back to Alaska? It could be a long time. I've got so many places that I want to go and explore, and this is just such a commitment to come back here. I want to try to do it soon, but I know that there's other places that Sean and I both want to go together. Yeah, looking forward to those, but I'm looking forward to the day I can come back to Alaska. We're on the last mile of the trail here. We'll get to the end, air up, and then we're gonna head into town and get a bite to eat. I think we're both hankering for a good meal. Then we'll fuel up and head east in search of another trail that I've got marked. I marked it on Onyx and planned it out, and I think we've got a good camp spot by the river if all goes well tonight, but we'll see. It might be a long day. Possible. We just left the town of Palmer, stopped for a really good meal at a little ale house, and got some gas, a couple snacks. And now we are heading east. I was just checking the map, and where we are going is about an hour and a half away. It's at 3,300 feet of elevation. Right now we are at just over 800. If you recall, a few days ago when we were at that high of elevation, we couldn't go any further because of snow. Hopefully, that's not the case though. All right, we've reached the trailhead for the Monument Mountain Trail, and this trail is listed on Onyx Off-Road, but we are only gonna follow this trail for a short period of time, and then we're gonna turn off and aim for a couple river campsites that I have marked. Now, it's about 4:30, maybe close to 5 o'clock this afternoon, so we might get to camp a little late, but that's all right. We got plenty of daylight, and the good news is, while it's a little windy, we've got some blue skies, a little sunshine. It's gonna be a good day. I hope we get to the river, catch some fish. This is the Monument Mountain Trail, an 11-mile route with a few offshoots that looked like they might be worth exploring, with the hope of eventually reaching the Little Nelchina River and drop a line in. Honestly though, I didn't choose this trail because of anything in particular. It just happened to line up with our route and gave us some good camping options for the night. But like so many trails in Alaska, what looks ordinary on the map turns out to be anything but. We ended up getting the truck soaked again, digging out the kinetic rope one more time, and soaking in some absolutely incredible mountain scenery. I know I keep going on about the views, but the truth is, almost every trail we've been on has offered its own variation of snow-capped peaks, wide valleys, and landscapes that just don't get old. It's hard not to be blown away over and over again. If there's one thing I've learned out here, it's in Alaska, the map never tells the whole story. You don't really know what you're in for until you're already in it.
Wow, I would not go this way.
Been on the trail for about a half hour, and the first part was a bunch of big, nasty mud puddles, and then we've kind of been going up and down, and now we've just climbed really steep on this really rocky ledge. But off in the distance out here, guys, it's a beautiful, beautiful view of the mountains, and there's a glacier that runs right in the center. It's absolutely stunning. What an incredible view. That looks like something out of a painting. That's amazing. Once again on this trip, we've found the snow line. At first glance, it looks like there's just a few scattered patches here and there, but looks can be deceiving. It's wet, slick, and there's a good layer of mud hiding underneath. We managed to plow our way through right up until we didn't. All All right, well, Sean found the deepest snow on the trail so far, and he's got himself a little stuck. So we've got the kinetic rope out. I'm gonna yank him out, and then we'll give it another go. All right, you ready?
Ready to go.
Here we go. Our first pull with the kinetic line didn't go as planned. The soft shackle let go. After as many recoveries as it's been through on this trip, I can't say I'm surprised, but it's a solid reminder when you're doing recoveries, make sure everyone's clear and in a safe position. Gear can fail. It's part of the reality out here. Fortunately, Sean and I both carry backups. We swapped in the new shackle, gave it a few more solid tugs, and just like that, we were free. And no digging required this time. Well, we got you unstuck again, my friend. What happened?
Well, I was going and then I wasn't.
It's all good. Let's hope that's the last time, maybe?
Yeah, the snow was hiding another one of those big water crossing puddles.
Sure.
And I sunk right into it. I was going real fast because I went through that other snow. Remember, you saw me just like plow through it. I was like, oh, this snow's great. You can just plow right through it. And then as soon as I hit the water, I sunk.
Sometimes send it doesn't do it. All right, we got him unstuck. That was a deep little snow hole. And it's cold outside. There's a reason there's still snow on the ground, because it's still chilly up here. Now, we're not even halfway. We got a long way to go. There's a lot of mud, snow, rocks. It's a little slower going than expected, so it's gonna be probably a late night arrival at camp, but that's okay. If it all works out, it should be pretty amazing. Interesting, adventurous afternoon. It's 7:05, so it's definitely late in the evening. Now, the route I had planned was going to take us kind of on this loop, and we're going to get to a river, and we're going to do that half today, and then coming out, we were going to leave the river and do the other half. Well, when we turned left off of the main trail, we lost the trail. Like snow, mud, overgrowth, I don't know. We lost the trail, we couldn't find it, so we've had to put in effect plan B, and we are staying on the main trail, and it looks like there's a really nice campsite. I pulled it up on Onyx with the satellite imagery, and I think where we're going is going to be pretty sweet. Sean might have got himself stuck on this hill, which will be interesting. So we're gonna see. He's trying to work it out, but kinetic rope might be coming out here in a second. Oh, there he goes. He got it. Nicely done, sir.
Yeah, a little bit terrifying, but no problem.
All right, we've arrived at camp, and options were slim pickings. There's a lot of mud, a lot of snow, but we found this nice little flat area on the grass right next to the stream. We can see the mountains off in the distance, and there's an old rusty Jeep Willys right there, which is kind of cool to see. So we're going to set up camp here and enjoy the evening. It's kind of been a long day, but it's been a whole lot of fun. My cowboy brother.
Partner,
What do you think about the trail today?
it's fantastic. I think today, as far as scenery goes, was the best day of the trip.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible coming up that ridge.
Yeah.
Campsite, it's okay.
Hey, you know what all I care about right now? The sun's out.
Yeah.
That's what's making me happy.
Definitely no rain. We got a little sunshine. I'll take it.
Any spot with the sun on my face.
Yes, sir.
And the wind at my back.
All right, we got camp all set up, and that's the great thing about the four-wheel campers. It just pops up and sets up really quick. Throw your chair out, and you're ready to go. Sean's got dinner duty tonight. He said he's going to make some steaks and pierogies, so excited for that because I could eat after that. We're kind of working a little bit doing that recovery and running around in the snow and the mud. was a lot of fun. Oh, there's looks like some elk droppings. So there's some wildlife out here somewhere. Now, we had planned on staying at a river tonight, way up north from here. That obviously didn't work out. So we're on this stream, and I was hoping, well, maybe we could do a little fishing, because that was the plan on the river, was to do some fishing. But this stream is pretty murky. I don't think we're going to do any fishing here, which is kind of a bummer. So we're actually going to modify our plans a little bit tomorrow. We had planned on this day being kind of a down day, today and tomorrow, and then go to our next destination. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a normal start tomorrow, and we found another option campsite just a little bit further east. So we're going to head there, and then maybe we'll get there early, and then we can relax, and maybe we could do some fishing. At this point, I'm not even sure we can call them changed plans anymore. This might just be the plan, and honestly, it always seems to work out. I don't think Sean or I can recall a single time where a detour didn't lead to something memorable. This campsite for Alaska, I'd call it a B-. But if I were back home in the States, this would easily be an A+. And after everything today threw at us, it's the perfect spot to wind down. What a day. And we're both ready and excited to see what tomorrow brings.